Melbourne, in the late 80s and early 90s, they were very, very close. They were pushing the envelope often through that period of time, and there's a lot of reasons for it. One of them was a man called Todd Viney. He's been good enough to join us on the show. Please make him welcome. Hello, mate. How you going, mate? You well?
Going well. Thanks, Andy. Yep.
Did you bring any props?
No, what have you got? You got anything in mind?
No, but I like the fact you're in flannel. Are you a devotee of the show?
Well, they said it was the front bar, not the MCC committee room, so I thought I'd come dressed appropriately.
We've dragged you down to our level. Well, thank you for coming.
We like reminding people who maybe are a bit young or have forgotten how good our guests were as footballers, so we roll a bit of vision, and it speaks for itself to a large degree, the sort of footballer that you were. When you came over from South Australia, Melbourne was keen, obviously, but Essendon was pretty keen as well. What was it your decision to lean towards Melbourne?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm that old that the draft wasn't in, so we were signed on the Form 4. So I had a couple of clubs, Melbourne, who'd been no good for a long period of time, and the Bombers, who had just won 2 flags in a row. So I had to make a bit of a choice, and got to spend a bit of time with Sheeds for over a period of time, and then got to know the Melbourne guys pretty well. You know, I met Robbie Flower. They brought me over to Melbourne, and
did you live with Robbie Flower?
Yeah, I lived with him for a week. I thought he had sports stores at the time. I thought I'd eventually like to do a sports store, but stayed with Robbie for a week. And I guess the clinching deal was when they said, look, we're going away on an end-of-season footy trip. Do you want to come away and get to know the players? So Melbourne sent me off to LA, San Francisco and Hawaii. So that was the clinching deal when decided to go with Melbourne.
And who was on that trip? Who was?
Well, there was Ron Barassi.
Ron Barassi? Are you in LA with Ron Barassi and you haven't played a game yet?
No. And Barassi just finished coaching. So when I came over in 1987, John Northey was the coach. But Brass was finishing, and I got to spend a bit of time with Brass at Waikiki Beach, playing chess with him.
Play chess?
Chess, he was in his dick stickers and playing chess. So,
this is too surreal. I can't get my head around.
How did you go? Do you remember who was a better chess player?
Well, he's a master tactician, so he wiped me. I'd only played checkers.
Did he shirt front? Did he shirt front your rook? Can I ask this? I want to get back to Robbie Flower for a minute. Is this true or false that on your first game you were playing, Robbie Flower came up to you and said, "Are you nervous?" And you said, "No, why?" And he said, "Because you've got your pants on backwards."
That's absolutely correct. Running out first game, playing Fitzroy.
Yes.
I became great mates with Robbie, and Robbie was always trying to prank me. You know, he'd ring me up in the middle of the week saying, "Hi, it's Eddie McGuire," or "It's Lou Richards," do an interview. So he was always pranking me. Then we're about to run out on the race, and Robbie said, "How you feeling?" I said, "Oh, bloody nervous." He goes, "Well, you look nervous. You've got your shorts on." That's the old days. The fly in the front.
Can I say that? This is Robert Flower to me, and anyone who was old enough to see him play football. He's just one of the greatest players ever play the game. And I'm still astonished that there's not a statue of him up out the front of the MCG, especially given Melbourne's place at the MCG and the MCC. I would have thought that would be a natural at some stage. Is there a push for that from the club?
Well,
do you know?
If there isn't a push, there should be, because he was a superstar, and really, we've talked about it before, but the reason why I came to Melbourne was Robbie Flower. Once I'd spent a week with him at that time, he was just such a humble champion, so well respected in the competition, and then spending time with him, I said, I can't go anywhere else, and I ended up being best man in his second wedding. We became really close, only played 1 year together.
And you had your pants on backwards then too, which was astonishing for
So before we get back to your highlights, just want to know, coming over from the Sandford to the AFL, was it did you easily adapt? Or take a while?
It took me a while, but at that stage, the SANFL was a really strong competition. You know, we had, my first year playing SANFL footy was, Jarmans, Kernahan, Bradley's, Peter Motley.
It was a good level.
It was a good level, so. But it was still a step up. The physicality and the professionalism of VFL footy at the time was a step up.
Yeah, we saw your highlights and we showed how great of a player you became. There wasn't a lot of high marking in the package that we showed, Todd, but if you needed to, you could get up. Do you know what I mean? Like when Nicky Winmar takes this over you, you can see here, you could get off the ground if you needed to. Do you remember that?
I do. It was mark of the year.
There's a statue.
Have you got a photo of that at home anywhere?
No, but I'm sure you're going to give me one.
No.
He should give you that car for 6 months of the year, given all the assistance you gave him. You got on well, Gary Lyon? You played with Gary, obviously?
Played a lot of footy with Gary.
So last year, used to show clips from a little show called AFL Squadron, hosted by Gary, and I was told to put it away.
Right, you were.
But I found a clip when you were on. Would you mind if I...
Oh, did you have to or not?
I'm afraid I do.
Oh, you would.
Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to the AFL Squadron Show. This morning we are very privileged to have as my special guest a teammate of mine, Todd Viney. Welcome, Todd.
Thanks, Gary. Nice to be here.
And just before I get talking to you, I'd like to officially welcome Kraft aboard as one of our major sponsors. Now, you look like a Kraft boy to me.
Absolutely, Gary. Grown up on Kraft.
Vegemite?
Vegemite in the mornings on the toast, yep.
Yeah, well, I had cheese and Vegemite sandwich before I play, actually. Is that right? Yeah.
That's some good banter.
No.
When I see that clip, you know what I think? I can't help thinking about your hair. It was very, very lush. And full of body and bounce. What was your secret?
I think I just watched it then. It was too fluffy, I reckon. Did
you blow wave? You blow wave?
No, that's just natural.
Wow.
Natural wave.
It's beautiful.
So silky.
Astonishing hair.
It's really silky.
It's really... I used to wear a headband, which was...
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
I thought you would too.
Hey, can we go back to as I said at the intro, you were part of some really good Melbourne teams that got close.
Yeah.
And this is one of the most famous days in modern footy history. Where were you, Todd, on the ground when
Well,
it
I
took
think
place?
you see me as Buckenara kicks. I'm just to the left, so I was trying to put him off. But that was my first year. We hadn't played finals footy for 24 years, and in my first year I thought I was going to play in a grand final.
Yeah.
This is hard to watch. I
haven't seen much of this vision before. This is... What was it like in that... What was it? Can you remember the feeling in the rooms? Northey
came in and stared at Jimmy and said, "Don't you ever effing do that again, Jimmy."
Yeah.
And...
Could Jimmy hear that over you blow drying your hair?
It was a great year. Terrible way to finish, but so close, and then to be beaten. After
we also remember it. It's the most stunning...
I was there that day, right on the side of that.
Well, yeah, it's not about you.
Did you... Just say...
It's about Todd.
That'll cost you. You have a good view? That was going straight through the way?
No, I was right there. He didn't miss it. Bucky was an unbelievable player.
Beautiful kick.
He was the wrong man to have the ball, and then a 15-metre. What a punishment that was.
Obviously disappointing that you didn't win in '87 the prelim and then go on and win the flag, because it's a shame for lovers of a good acceptance speech.
True.
Because a long history of Melbourne captains. Very good at the victory speech. As the captain of the night, Danny Hughes.
This is the night grand final.
1987 versus Essendon. Enjoy.
It's bloody good to win anyway. It's just a proud moment to be up here. I'd like to say bad luck to Essendon. There's only one winner on the night, and it's us. Thank you very much.
Now,
It's a good country boy, Danny.
he's stolen that from Winston Churchill.
I think it's safe to say Danny hadn't prepared a speech, had he? That was pretty much...
No, I think Robbie might have been captain at the time. He was injured in the grandstand with me, and Danny was vice-captain. He was a tremendous player, tough fullback, used to belch in the back of the head if you were in front of him. But
the next year, 88, of course, you went one better in the home and away season, got through to the grand final. It didn't end well, of course. No. You ran into a pretty good side.
Yeah, no, we ran into some really good teams.
Yep.
We were around the mark for a long period of time, Melbourne, but we did come up against some really strong teams, and that Hawks team of 88 was full of superstars, and they touched us up well and truly.
So you missed the prelim that year, but you pushed your case to get a spot in the grand final. What did you do?
Yeah, no, I had the second year blues. I had an average year, and then we got dropped for the prelim final, and then Straubs O'Dwyer, the big ruckman, big fiery redhead ruckman, got reported, and so there was one opening. I wasn't traditionally a ruckman, so we had to try and convince Northey not to go like for like and replace me with a ruckman. So I wrote him a letter, sort of in the middle of the week, wrote him a letter. He flogged us all week. There was about 2 or 3 other emergencies.
By the way, for our younger listeners, a letter is something you used to communicate before you had a mobile phone.
Use a pen.
It required a stamp.
So I sent him a letter, "Dear John, pick me. I'm going to do all these fantastic things, which I didn't do any of. But I managed to get in the grand final.
You got in. Yeah.
Can I ask you about the lap of honour? I want to ask you about these scenes. And this is
we asked Gary Lyon this, didn't we?
We asked Gary Lyon this. There you are.
Nice tips.
I like the tips. Were you a fan of the tips? The tips were good for you.
That's a bad...
Not as lush, but striking.
It was a bad era.
So here we are. We asked Gary about this, and he couldn't tell us. Why are you doing a lap of honour before the game? Yeah. This is before the game.
No, I can't recall that. It was obviously a ploy to get the... Because we'd come from nowhere, really, that year.
Well, you did
the last 6 games of that year to make the finals, and then we're on this huge roller coaster. And John Northey was a master tactician of getting you up. So I think he would have suggested... Go around, suck it all in, and get up for the.
I think singing the song at half time was probably a mistake. There it is.
So
I want to show a package. Can we please do this? Can we do it?
Yeah, go on.
I want to do it. Show a package. You were one of the fiercest men to step on a field. You were. And
wholehearted, full
Can we
body.
have a look at some of your hard nut stuff on the ground, which you were well known for? And bang!
You should have had 10 weeks for that. No one does that to Anthony.
Did you always play like this, Todd?
Yeah, I didn't have enormous talent, but my competitiveness...
Look at this. Who tackles like this? Here's one you might remember. Can you talk me... Do you remember this moment?
I do. Got 3 stitches in my eye after that.
Did you?
From Big Gary, yeah.
Did you lose your mind? No one does that when Gary Ablett's steaming the woods, and they jump out of the way, mate.
It was like a freight train.
Yeah.
He's a powerful man.
So when he hit you, did he have that mass? You remember getting hit by?
Yeah, no, he sort of... I was about 90 kilograms, and I reckon he was 105.
Yeah.
So it was like 2 locomotives hitting each other.
He probably just saw your hair and thought,
That's it, I'm going. It's already. Can I ask you, we had Chris Lewis on the show last year and asked him about the infamous moment with you, controversial moment. What were your memories of this day at the MCG?
Yeah, we had fierce rivalry with these guys. Like, we were a good team, and these guys were the up-and-coming new boys on the block. And so we had a few run-ins, and Chris and I think I might have had a pretty good...
Had you been at it all day, you two?
Yeah, well, not specifically, but there was just a lot of angst, and I think I might have had him in a pretty good headlock at the time, and he might have just been a second or two before feigning. So I think he might have said, I've got to get out of this, and unfortunately...
Chomped down.
Bit my finger and got, I think, 4 weeks in the end. But it was a big story at the time.
Massive.
You know, unfortunately for Chris, it was sort of he copped way too much for it. It was just one of those things in the heat of battle. And I think, you know, because of the headlock, I just think he was trying to reflex get out of what he was doing. But unfortunately, he got 4 weeks.
It was a massive story at the time, and Chris Lewis was widely condemned by most of the football world. But he did find an ally in your old chess partner, Ron Barassi, next morning.
Biting a finger, if it's in your mush, what's wrong with that, for goodness sake? Is that as bad as a kick, as some people are saying? I can't believe it. Would you have bitten someone? If something was being done in my face, yes.
That sounds a bit like Ron reckons you didn't go far enough. Do you know what I mean? I think he wants Chris Lewis.
Take it off.
By the way, there wasn't much social distancing going on that panel, by the way.
Todd, stick around. When we come back, you don't want to go anywhere. When we come back, we've got one of the great footy songs that not enough people have seen. On the other side of this, we'll play that for you. On the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere.
Come on, demons. Come on, come on, come on, come on, demons. We've got the team, football machine to take us to the top. We will to the top. We've got the fire with the desire to win that premiership cup. Come on, demons. Scream, scream. Come on, demons. Come on!
What's your favourite bit? I like the chopping the goalpost. That's amazing.
Andy Lovell, his dad was a world champion wood chopper.
Oh, wood chopper.
Peter Road on drums was magnificent.
Ricky Jackson coming out of the locker was pretty
Popping out of the cupboard. He used to do that all the time.
Yeah, you were good too. I liked your hair.
Yeah, no, good sit up, so. Yeah.
What's going on?
Have a look. I like the white tips. Talk to the white tips.
It's just a stage you go through when you're growing up. I think another stage I got a Porsche, and And it's just one of those boy things you have to do. Get your hair tipped and get a Porsche.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah,
Is that the same car that had the number plate Brat 12?
No, that was
What car was that?
That was another mistake. that was my first year.
Listen, you're obsessed with his hair. Just leave his hair alone.
Because he has beautiful hair.
Yeah, you do. What, you think about growing it out again or not?
Well, I've had a bit of an ISO cut, so this is recovery mode.
Oh, yeah.
So my son
And why did you feel the need to rein it in with a headband?
Well, I just couldn't see. And that's the famous story where we were playing and we had a lot of pretty boys. Andy Lovell, Stephen Tingay and the like had long hair. And
Stephen Tingay, Stinger.
And we'd lost to Collingwood this day and I was wearing the headband. It wasn't a headband, it was actually ankle tape folded in half just to keep my hair out of my eyes. And we were training this Monday after losing to Collingwood and Barmby saying, all you pretty boys, stop doing this with your hair before you mark the footy. And I was at the front and I'm going, yeah. And then he goes, and you look like a dickhead if you wear that headband. That was last time.
What about the man bun? Obviously you were pre-man bun. Do you like the idea of the man bun? Would you have gone the man bun?
No, anti.
Really? No, anti. You would have had a great man bun.
No, I'm happy with a little bit of tape. Like I didn't want to go real Pat Cash style headband. I just wanted a bit of tape.
It's interesting you bring up the tennis. Shall we go to the archives?
We've got a favourite segment of ours. Todd, it's called Fresh from the Archives.
Todd, anyone who's watching football this year will remember when you resigned from football.
Staggering.
Shocking at the height of your powers, resigned from football to take up a career coaching Mark Philippoussis at tennis.
Viney, who will leave for Florida on Saturday, won't be joined by his wife Megan and son Jack until April, but can't wait to get to work on one of tennis's hottest prospects.
Now, I just think the long-term security that it offers them, if it all falls together, then I'm looking at doing this till 65, the age of Nick Bollettieri.
So, just out of interest, Todd, how long did that last?
3 months. No, it was 6 months.
6 months. But did you not miss one game of football?
No, well, we didn't make the finals in whatever year, 95.
Yeah, because you were off coaching tennis.
No, we didn't make the finals, and then I started working with Mark, and I got him up, and we beat the #1 player in the world, which was Pete Sampras. Then they asked me to go full-time with him. And then I decided to retire at that right old age of about 30, I reckon. Yeah. And I think I was vice-captain at the time and told Barmy that I was going to take off and live in Florida for the American summer and then Monte Carlo for the European summer. Yeah. Didn't have too much trouble convincing the wife at the time. Yeah. And then went away, travelled. Melbourne kept me on the list and then I had a run-in with the old man in about the second week away and things went downhill pretty quick.
Oh, well, for 3 months, at least you gave it a go.
Can we talk about your tennis career?
Yes, as a junior, obviously that's just not out of nowhere. You had a decision to make, but how good a junior tennis player were you, Todd?
No, very good. Yeah. Very good. I was part of the Australian Institute of Sport tennis squad, so I left home in Adelaide at 16 to live at the Institute of Sport with guys like Darren Cale and Peter Carter, who ended up going on to coach Roger Federer.
Were you a baseliner? Did you rush the net? What was your...
No, I was a bit... Darren Cale used to call me cement hands because I had very hard hands, you know. I used to bash the hell out of the ball. I was before my time, really. Yeah. I'd fit in well now, but at the time it was certainly... I didn't have the craft. Right. I was too aggressive.
Your tennis career, though, was well known to anyone who's following the football. It always used to come up. And there was always a story about you and Boris Becker. Yeah. Can you tell us about that?
Well, that was another mistake. Right, so the story of the Boris Becker story was I gave up tennis at the age of 18, started playing SNFL footy in Adelaide. Yes. A guy called Robert Odie was a commentator. Yep. A famous footy family, commentating on one of my first games, and this is a boy that's come back from playing the tennis circuits, played against Stefan Edberg, which is a true story. Yes. I didn't win that either. And then by the time I got over to Melbourne, Lou Richards basically interviewed one of my first interviews and said, and this is the boy that beat Boris Becker. And I didn't have the balls to say, that's not true, that's not true. So I just went along with it for about 8 or 10 years.
Yes, well, you did go along with it for 8 or 10 years because if you have a listen to this, it's pretty fair to say you didn't put an end to the rumour.
Now, legend has it, of course, that you're a Boris Becker beater. Yeah, well, that's a few years ago now. I hate to face a big serve now, but yeah, a long time ago there.
You can sense your hesitation there. You don't know what to do.
I was going to say, Todd, in your defence, it seems pretty vague, but in your defence, it is very hard to remember details of something that didn't happen.
It's true. So it got to the point. I was great mates with Darren Cahill, and he'd get me the inner sanctum passes when he was playing the Australian Open, and I'd had like sort of like co-coach Darren Cahill. And I wasn't coaching him, but I'd be walking through the the archives of the tennis centre, and I'd see Boris coming, and I'd hide just in case he'd heard this story. Yeah.
So did you beat anyone of any note? Like, did you ever beat Hank Pfister, for example?
No great victories.
No? Moscow Tanner?
That was the era.
Johan Creek, what was he like?
pretty good player. Australian Open.
He won too.
Yeah, very good.
Kim Warwick? Did you play against Kim Warwick?
Okay, he's going to go on all night. You know that. Mark Edmondson.
Hey, your son Jack, you must be enormously proud of the way he's carved out his own. And was he always destined to follow in your footsteps as a player?
Look at that. That's great.
Yeah, that's amazing footage. But no, well, from a young age, he seemed to have that natural talent.
Can I ask you just quickly there? What are you most proud of there? Him being drafted or his hair? His gorgeous hair.
You are hang up on the hair.
I am hanging up on the hair.
You can't go past the hair.
So you always knew he was going to play.
He always had some sort of inkling that there was a bit of a natural talent.
I heard a story that he was, as a child, that there were mums who used to take their kids off the field when he was on there because he was a very hard young.
He played hard and tough. He was just one of those kids that had no sense and no fear. And I just said to him, like, you're getting in a lot of trouble at the moment with the school, the headmasters and the parents, but stick at it, mate. Like, this is what AFL footy's about. And unfortunately now, you're not allowed to tackle them too hard either.
So, Todd, this is the Ashburton under-10s. Now, that little kid there in the Carlton jumper,
not a bad player.
Their ego's all right.
Yeah, Brownlow medalist.
Who's that?
That's Tommy Mitchell.
Tommy Mitchell.
So that's him there. Jack was in that team, and there was another pretty handy player in that team.
Another little rat bag, Toby Green.
It was in that team as well.
They all did Oz kick together and then went on to play at the Ashburton Redbacks.
That's unbelievable.
A lot of discussion, Todd, about how tough and hard Jack was as a young boy. Not evidenced in this clip.
You a good boy?
Yeah.
Was Tom?
I'm going to get a prize.
Get a surprise?
His hair seems okay. That's all right.
Like, seriously, it's amazing what you do in front of a camera. I brought it up opposite to that.
I love how you finished chopping the tomato too, by the way. That was really...
It'll go well with this onion at some point.
I wanted to... it must be great to see Andy again. You two go way back. Of course, he was an intrepid reporter for most of your career.
Right.
Do you remember him?
Do you remember?
I remember.
Well, they used to send him down. They used to send him down into the rooms. You're here. We'll spot you later.
Andrew Maher's down in the rooms. What's the feeling like down there, Andrew?
Yeah, it's one of a side that actually believes that it can win. I think there's no histrionics and no hoopla, no ranting or raving. They just come in. Greg Hutchison took them into the room, had about a 2 or 3 minute chat to them, sent them back.
There you are, Todd.
Walking around a bit.
Look, I'll get him before Mick and just say your pubic hair is amazing. By the way. It's just everything's just. You're obviously you're a pert 2-in-1 man.
How do you reckon the D's are travelling?
Yeah. How did you enjoy watching them? Are you hopeful that the D's are on the...
Well, very hopeful. I've spent the last 9 years there trying to put us in a position to compete. You know, at the end of 2018, we thought we were not too far away, but last year was disappointing, and this year we've been a bit shaky. It's been, but it's been one of those years where I'm not really convinced on anyone at the moment.
Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it? Yeah.
I think looks like we're still trying to get our balance right and tools and smalls and what our best team looks like. But I think there were some positive signs last week.
Now, I know you got a jumper behind the bar over there that might be a bit familiar to you. It's the Proud to Belong jumper. This is the same design jumper that you wore in the 90s. Do you remember that jumper?
I do remember it. I don't know whether I played any good in it, but
bet you did.
Yeah.
Any Melbourne supporter can get their name printed on that jumper, and that jumper will be worn by the Melbourne footy team in a game later on this season. All you got to do is log on to melbournefc.com.au. There are details on how to become part of that jumper that'll become part of Melbourne.
Get on board.
History, of course, and it's a great way to help support your footy club in a time where footy clubs need all help they can get to get through this testing time.
It's unprecedented at the moment, so all the support that your members can give us.
Mate, thanks for
coming on.
Thanks for wearing the flannel. Thanks for putting up with all the questions about all your hair. Appreciate you coming on the show. Todd Viney, our very special guest. Great to have him on the show.